Torah reading for Va'etchanan Devarim Deuteronomy ch. 3 vs. 23 thru c7 v11. First portion. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 3. Va'etchanan 1917 English translation not copyrighted, on top all the way down, 23. And I besought the Lord that time, saying, 23 entreated the Lord that time, saying, כגבעתחנן אל יהובה בעת היבל לאמור. 24 O Lord God, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness, indeed thy strong hand, for what God is there in heaven or on earth, that do according to all their works, and according to all their mighty acts. 24 O Lord God, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your strong hand, for who is like God in heaven or on earth who do your deeds and your might. כדע אדוני יהוה תאכיל אותה להראות את עבדך את גדך ואת ידך החזקה אשר מאלה בשמיים ובארץ אשר יעשה כמעשיך וכגבורותיך. 25 Let me go over, I pray thee, and see the good land that is beyond the Jordan, that goodly ajl siu and tilve, and Lebanon. 25 Pray let me cross over and see the good land that is on the other side of the Jordan, this good mountain and the Lebanon. כהאברהנה ואראה את הארץ הטובה אשר בעבר הירדן ההר הטוב הזה והלבנון. 26 But the Lord was wroth with me for your sakes, and he hearkened not unto me, and the Lord said unto me, Let 80 suffice thee, speak no more unto me of this matter. 26 But the Lord was angry with me because of you, and he did not listen to me, and the Lord said to me, 80 is enough for you, speak to me no more regarding this matter. כבוידבר יהוה בי למענכם ולא שמע אלי, ויאמר יהוה אלי רב לך לתבוסף דבר אלי עוד בדבר הזה. 27 Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward, and northward, and southward, and eastward, and behold with thine eyes, for thou shalt not go over this Jordan. 27 Go up to the top of the hill, and lift up your eyes westward, and northward, and southward, and eastward, and see with your eyes, for ye shall not cross this Jordan. כזעלה אור אש הפסגה, ושא עיניך ימה וצפנה ותימנה, ומזרחה וראה בעיניך כי לא תעבר את הירדן הזה. 28 But charge Joshua, and encourage him, and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which thou shalt see. 28 But command Joshua, and strengthen him, and encourage him, for he will cross over before this people, and he will make them inherit the land which you will see. כחוצבו את יהושע וחזקהו ואמצהו כי הוא יעבור לפני העם הזה, והוא ינחיל אותם את הארץ אשר תראה. 29 Ysrael about in the valley over against Bethqur. 29 And we abided in the valley opposite Beth Peor. כתבה נשב בגיא מרוי בית פאור. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 4. And now, O Israel, hearken unto the statutes and unto the ordinances, which I teach you, to do them, that way ye may live, and go in and possess the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, giveth you. And now, O Israel, hearken to all the statutes and to all the judgments which I teach you to do, in order that you may live, and go in and possess the land which the Lord, God of your forefathers, is giving you. או אתה ישראל שמע אל החוקים ואל המשפטים אשר אנוכי מלמד אתכם לעשות למען תחיו ובאתם וירשתם את הארץ אשר יהוה אלוהי אבותיכם נותן לכם. 2 Where ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish from it, that way ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you. 2. Do not add t or the word which I command you, nor diminish from at, or observe the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you. בלא תוסיפו על הדברה אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם ולא תגרעו ממנו לשמור את מצוות היהובה אלוהיכם אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם. 3. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did in Baal Peor, for all the men that followed the Baal of Peor, the Lord thy God hath destroyed them from the midst of thee. 3. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did at Baal Peor, for every man who went after Baal Peor, the Lord your God has exterminated from your midst. גאיניכם הרועבות את אשר עשה יהובה בבעל פעבור, כי כל האיש אשר הלך אחרי בעל פעבור איש מדבו יהובה אלוהיך מקרבך. 4. But were ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are ye alive every one of you this day. 4. But you who cleave to the Lord your God are ye alive, all of you, this day. דו אתם הדבקים ביהובה אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום. Second portion. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 4. 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and ordinances, even as the Lord and way God commanded me, that way ye should do so in the midst of the land whither way ye go into or possess it. 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and ordinances, as the Lord, and way God, commanded me, to do so in the midst of the land to which you are coming to possess. הראו לימדתי אתכם חוקים ומשפטים כאשר ציווני יהובה אלוהי לעשות כן בקרב הארץ אשר אתם באים שמה לרשתיה. 6. Observe therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples, that, when they hear all these statutes, shall say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. 6. And you shall keep them and do them, for that is your wisdom and your understanding in the eyes of the peoples, who will hear all these statutes and say, only this great nation is a wise and understanding people. ושמרתם ועשיתם כי יבוא חכמתכם ובינתכם לעיני העמים אשר ישמעו את כל החוקים האלה ואמרו רק חכם ונבון הגבוה הגדול הזה. 7. For what great nation is there, that hath God so nigh unto them, is the Lord our God is whensoever we call upon him. 7. For what great nation is there that has God so near to at, is the Lord our God is at all times that we call upon him. זה כי מגוי גדול אשר הלא אלוהים קרובים אליו כיהובה אלוהינו בכל יקראנו אליו. 8. And what great nation is there, that hath statutes and ordinances so righteous is all this law, which I set before you this day. 8. And which great nation is it that has just statutes and ordinances, is this entire Torah, which I set before you this day. חומי גבוי גדול אשר הלא חוקים ומשפטים צדיקים ככולה התבורה הזועת אשר אנוכי נותן לפניכם היום. Only take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes saw, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but make them known unto thy children and thy children's children. But beware and watch yourself very well, lest you forget the things that your eyes saw, and lest these things depart from your heart all the days of your life, and you shall make them known to your children and to your children's children. רק ישמר לך ושמור נפשך מאוד פן תשכח את הדברים אשר ראו עיניך ופני אסורו מלבבך כל ימי חייך והודעתם לבניך ולבני בניך. 10. The day that thou stoodest before the Lord thy God in Horeb, when the Lord said unto me, assemble me the people, and I will make them hear my words that they may learn to fear me all the days that they live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. So the day you stood before the Lord your God at Horeb, when the Lord said to me, assemble the people for me, and I will let them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they live on the earth, and that they may teach their children. יום אשר עמדתה לפני יהובה אלוהיך בחורבה באמור יהובה אלי הקהלה לי את העם והשמיעם את דברי אשר ילמדון ליראה אותי כל הימים אשר הם חיים על האדמה ואת בניהם ילמדון. 11. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the heart of heaven, with darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. 11. And you approached and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire up to the midst of the heavens, with darkness, a cloud, and the opaque darkness. ותקרבון ותעמדון תחת ההר, וההר בוער באש שעדה לב השמיים חישך חנן וערפל. 12. And the Lord spoke unto you out of the midst of the fire, where ye heard the voice of words, but where ye saw no form, only a voice. 12. The Lord spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard the sound of the words, but saw no image, just a voice. וידבר יהובה עליכם מתוך האש כבול דברים אתם שומעים ותמונה אינכם רואים זולתי כל. 13. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even the 10 words, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. 13. And he told you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, the 10 commandments, and he inscribed them on 2 stone tablets. ויגד לכם את בריתו אשר ציווה אתכם לעשות 10 הדברים ויכתבם על שני לוחות אבנים. 14. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and the ordinances, that way ye might do them in the land whither way ye go over to possess it. 14. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and the ordinances, so that you should do them in the land to which you are crossing, to possess. ידועתי ציווה יהובה בעת ההיא וללמד אתכם חוקים ומשפטים לעשתכם אותם בארץ אשר אתם עוברים שמה לרשתיה. 15. Take way therefore good heed unto yourselves, for way ye saw in all manner of form on the day that the Lord spoke unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. 15. And you shall watch yourselves very well, for you did not see any image on the day that the Lord spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire. ונשמרתם עד לנפשותיכם, כי לא ראיתם כלית אמונה ביום דיבר יהובה עליכם בחורב מתוך האש. 16. Lest way ye deal corruptly, and ye make you a graven image, even the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female. 16. Lest you become corrupt and ye make for yourselves a graven image, the representation of any form, the likeness of male or female. תספן תשחיתון ועשיתם לכם פסל תמונת כלסמל תאוונית זכר או נקבה. 17. The likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the heaven. 17. The likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the heaven. יזתבנית כלבהמה אשר בארץ תאבנית כלציפור כנף אשר תערוף בשמיים. 18. The likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. 18. The likeness of anything that crawls on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters, beneath the earth. תאבנית כלרומס באדמה, תאבנית כל דאגה אשר במים מתחת לארץ. 19. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, thou be drawn away and worship them, and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath allotted unto all the peoples under the whole heaven. 19. And lest you lift up your eyes to heaven, and see the sun, and the moon, and the stars, all the host of heaven, which the Lord your God assigned to all peoples under the entire heaven, and be drawn away to prostrate yourselves before them and worship them. יתופן תישא עיניך השמיימה, וראית את השמש ואת הירח ואת הכוכבים כל צבא השמיים, ונידחתיה, וישתחווית להם ועבדתם, אשר חלק יהובה אלוהיך אותם לכל העמים תחת כל השמיים. 20. But you hath the Lord taken and brought forth out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, Ysrael this day. 20. But the Lord took you and brought you out of the iron crucible, out of Egypt, to be a people of his possession, as of this day. כה אתכם לקח יהובה ויוציא אתכם מכור הברזל ממצרים להיות לעולם נחלה כיום הזה. 21. Now the Lord was angered with me for your sakes, and he swore that they should not go over the Jordan, and that they should not go in unto that good land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. 21. And the Lord was angry with me because of you, and he swore that they would not cross the Jordan, and that they would not come into the good land the Lord, your God, is giving you as an inheritance. ויהובה יתענף בי על דבריכם וישבע לבלתי עברי את הירדן, ולבלתי בוא אל הארץ התאובה אשרה יהובה אלוהיך נותן לך נחלה. 22. But I must die in this land, I must not go over the Jordan, but Va'etchanan go over, and possess that good land. 22. For I will die in this land, I will not cross the Jordan. You, however, will cross, and you will possess this good land. כי אנוכי מתה בארץ הזאת אינני עובר את הירדן, ואתם עוברים וירשתם את הארץ התאובה הזאת. 23. Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and he make you a graven image, even the likeness of anything which the Lord thy God hath forbidden thee. 23. Beware, lest you forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and he make for yourselves a graven image, the likeness of anything, which the Lord your God has forbidden you. כגי שמרו לכם פן תשכחו את ברית יהובה אלוהיכם אשר קראתי עמכם ועשיתם לכם פסלת אמונת כל אשר ציוך יהובה אלוהיך. 24. For the Lord thy God is a devouring fire, a jealous God. 24. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a zealous God. כדא כי יהובה אלוהיך אש אוכלה הוא אלקנה. 25. When thou shalt beget children, and the children's children, and the way ye shall have been long in the land, and ye shall deal corruptly, and ye make a graven image, even the form of anything, and ye shall do that which is evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him. 25. When you beget children and the children's children, and you will be long established in the land, and you become corrupt, and ye make a graven image, the likeness of anything, and do evil in the eyes of the Lord your God, to provoke him to anger. כהכיתו לבנים ובני בנים ונושנתם בארץ וישחתם ועשיתם פסלת אמונת כל ועשיתם הרע בעיני יהובה האלוהיך להכעיסו. 26. I call heaven and the earth to witness against you this day, that way ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto way ye go over the Jordan to possess it, where ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. 26. I call as witness against you this very day the heaven and the earth, that you will speedily and utterly perish from the land to which you cross the Jordan, to possess. You will not prolong your days upon it, but will be utterly destroyed. כה העידותי בכם היום את השמיים ואת הארץ, כי עבדו עבדון מהרה מעל הארץ אשר אתם עוברים את הירדן, שמע לרשתה לא התאריכון ימים עליה, כי הישמד תשמדון. 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the peoples, and where ye shall be left few in number among the nations, whither the Lord shall lead you away. 27. And the Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and you will remain few in number among the nations to all where the Lord will lead you. כזו הפיץ יהובה אתכם בעמים, ונשארתם מתי מספר בגבוהים אשר ינהג יהובה אתכם שמה. 28. And there way ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and the stone, which neither see, and nor hear, and nor eat, and nor smell. 28. And there you will worship gods, men's handiwork, wood and the stone, which neither see, hear, eat, and nor smell. ככבה עבדתם שם אלוהים מעשה ידי אדם עץ ואבן אשר לא יראון, ולא ישמעון, ולא יאכלון, ולא יריחון. 29. But from thence way ye will seek the Lord thy God, and thou shalt find him, if thou search after him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. 29. And from there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him, if you seek him with all your heart and with all your soul. כתוב וקשתם משם את יהובה אלוהיך, ומצאת כי תדרשנו בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך. 30. In thy distress, when all these things are come upon thee, in the end of days, thou wilt return to the Lord thy God, and hearken unto his voice. 30. When you are distressed, and all these things happen upon you in the end of days, then you will return to the Lord your God and obey him. לבצר לך ומצאוך כל הדברים האלה באחרית הימים ושבת עד יהובה אלוהיך ושמעת בקולו. 31. For the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not fail thee, neither destroy thee, and will forget the covenant of thy fathers which he swore unto them. 31. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not let you loose or destroy you, neither will he forget the covenant of your fathers, which he swore to them. להקיא אל רחום יהובה אלוהיך לא ירפך ולא ישחיתך, ולא ישכח את ברית אבותיך אשר נשבע עליהם. 32. For ask now of the days past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and from the one end of heaven unto the other, whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing as, or hath been heard like 80. 32. For ask now regarding the early days that were before you, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there was anything like this great thing, or was the likes of it heard. לבקי שאלנה לימים ראשונים אשר היו לפניך למן היום אשר ברא אלוהים או אדם עלי הארץ ולמקצה השמיים ועד קצה השמיים הנהיה כדעבר הגדול הזה או הנשמע כמוהו. 33. Did ever a people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard, and live? 33. Did ever a people hear God's voice speaking out of the midst of the fire as you have heard, and live? לגהשמה כבול אלוהים מדבר מתוך האש כאשר שמעתיה תאהבייכי. 34. Or hath God said to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation, by trials, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by an outstretched arm, and by great terrors, according to all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before thine eyes? 34. Or has any God performed miracles to come and take him a nation from the midst of another nation, with trials, with signs, and with wonders, and with war, and with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great awesome deeds, as all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? לדאו הניסה אלוהים לבוא לקחת לאו גויה מקרב גבויה במסותה באותות ובמופתים ובמלחמה וביד חזקה ובזרוע נטויה ובמוראים גדולים ככל אשר עשה לכם יהובה אלוהיכם במצרים לעיניך. 35. Unto thee it was shown, that thou mightest know that the Lord, he is God, there is none else beside him. 35. You have been shown, in order to know that the Lord he is God, there is none else besides him. להעתיה הראית לדעת כי יהובה הוא האלוהים אין עוד מלבדו. 36. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee, and upon earth he made thee to see his great fire, and thou didst hear his words out of the midst of the fire. 36. From the heavens he let you hear his voice to instruct you, and upon the earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words out of the midst of the fire. לומן השמיים ישמיעך את קולו ליסרך ועלי הארץ הראך את האישו הגדולה ודבריו שמעתיה מתוך האש. 37. And because he loved thy fathers, and chose their seed after them, and brought thee out with his presence, with his great power, out of Egypt. 37. And because he loved your forefathers, and chose their seed after them, and he brought you out of Egypt before him with his great strength. לזאת אחת כי אהבה את אבותיך ויבחר בזרעו אחריו ויוציאך בפניו בכוחו הגאד ממצרים. 38. To drive out nations from before thee greater and mightier than thou, to bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance, as this day. 38. To drive out from before you nations greater and stronger than you, to bring you and give you their land for an inheritance, as this day. לכל הורי יש גבוהים גדולים ועצומים ממך מפניך להביאך לתת לך את ארצם נחלה כיום הזה. 39. Know this day, and lay it to all thy heart, that the Lord, he is God in heaven above and upon the earth beneath, there is none else. 39. And you shall know this day and consider it in your heart, that the Lord he is God in heaven above, and upon the earth below, there is none else. לתוידעתיה היום והשבותה אל לבבך כי יהובה הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועלי הארץ מתחת אין עוד. 40. And thou shalt keep his statutes, and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that thee may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, forever. 40 and ye shall observe his statutes and his commandments, which I command you this day, that thee may be well with you and your children after you, and that you may prolong your days upon the earth which the Lord your God gives you forever. ושמרת את חוקיו ואת מצוותיו אשר אנוכי מצווך היום אשר היטב לך ולבניך אחריך ולמען תאריך ימים על האדמה אשר יהוה אלוהיך נותן לך כל הימים. Third portion. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 4. 41. Then Moses separated 3 cities beyond the Jordan toward the sun rising. 41. Then Moses decided to separate 3 cities on the side of the Jordan towards the sunrise. מאז יבדיל מה שהשושרים בעבר הירדן מזרחה שמש. 42. That the manslayer might flee thither, that slayeth his neighbor unawares, and he hated him not in time past, and that fleeing unto one of these cities he might live. 42. So that a murderer might flee there, he who murders his fellow man unintentionally, but did not hate him in time past, that he may flee to one of these cities, so that he might live. מבלנוס שמע רוצח אשר ירצחה את רעהו בבלידת והוא לא אסנה לאו מתמל שילשם ונשא לאחת מן ההרים האל וחי. 43. Bezer in the wilderness, in the Tiabil and for the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead, for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan, for the Manassites. 43. Bezer in the desert, in the plain country of the Reubenites, Ramoth in Gilead of the Gadites, and Golan in the Bashan of the Manassites. מגעת בצר במדבר בארץ המישור לראובני, ואת רמת בגלעדי לגדי, ואת גבולן בבשן למנשי. 44. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. 44. And this is the teaching which Moses set before the children of Israel. מדוז את התבורה אשר עשם מישה לפני בני ישראל. 45. These are the testimonies, and the statutes, and the ordinances, which Moses spoke unto the children of Israel, when they came forth out of Egypt. 45. These are the testimonies, statutes, and the ordinances, which Moses spoke to all the children of Israel when they went out of Egypt. מהאלה העדות והחוקים והמשפטים אשר דיבר משה אל בני ישראל בצאתם ממצרים. 46. Beyond the Jordan, in the valley over against Bethqur, in the land of Sihon king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote, when they came forth out of Egypt. 46. On the side of the Jordan in the valley, opposite Beth-peor, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote, after they went out of Egypt. ובעבר הירדן בגיא המהול בית פעבור בארץ סיחון מלך האמורי אשר יושב בחשבון אשר היכה משה ובני ישראל בצאתם ממצרים. 47. And they took his land in possession, and the land of Og king of Bashan, the 2 kings of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan toward the sunrising. 47. And they possessed his land and the land of Og, king of the Bashan, the 2 kings of the Amorites, who were on the side of the Jordan, towards the sunrise. מזווירשו את ארצו ואת הארץ או ארוג מלך הבשן 2 מלכי האמורי אשר בעבר הירדן מזרחה שמש. 48. From Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of Arnon, even unto Mount Zion, the same is Hermon. 48. From Aroer, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, to Mount Zion, which is Hermon. מחמא הרוער אשר על שפתה נחל ארן, ועד הר סיאן ההוא חרמון. 49. And all the Araba beyond the Jordan eastward, even unto the sea of the Araba, under the slopes of Pisgah. 49. And all the plain across the Jordan eastward as far as the sea of the plain, under the waterfalls of the hill. מתוכל הערבה עבר הירדן מזרחה ועד ים הערבה תחת אשדת הפסגה. Fourth portion. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 5. 1. And Moses called unto all Israel, and he said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and the ordinances which I speak in your ears this day, that way ye may learn them, and observe to order them. Achat and Moses called all Israel and said to them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and the ordinances which I speak in your ears this day, and learn them, and observe them to order them. ויקרא משה אל כלי ישראל ויאמר עליהם שמע ישראל את החוקים ואת המשפטים אשר אנוכי דעובר באזניכם היום ולמדתם אותם ושמרתם לעשותם. 2. The Lord our God made a covenant with you as in Horeb. 2. The Lord our God made a covenant with you as in Horeb. בהובא אלוהינו כרת עמנו ברית בחורב. 3. The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with you as, even you as, who are ye all of you as here alive this day. 3. Not with our forefathers did the Lord make this covenant, but with you as, we, all of whom are ye here alive today. גלו את אבותינו כרת יהובה את הברית הזאת כי איתנו אנחנו אלה פה היום כולנו חיים. 4. The Lord spoke with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire. 4. Face to face. The Lord spoke with you at the mountain out of the midst of the fire. בפנים או בפנים דיבר יהובה עמכם בהר מתוך האש. 5. I stood between the Lord and you at that time, to declare unto you the word of the Lord, for we ye were afraid because of the fire, and ye went not up into the mount, saying, 5. And I stood between the Lord and you at that time, to tell you the word of the Lord, for you were afraid of the fire, and you did not go up on the mountain, saying, האנוכי עומד בין יהובה וביניכם בעת ההיא ולהגיד לכם את דבר יהובה כי יראתם מפני האש ולא העליתם בהר לאמור. 6. I am the Lord thy God, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. 6. I am the Lord your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. ואנוכי יהובה אלוהיך אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. 7. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. 7. You shall not have the gods of others in my presence. זה לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי. 8. Thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image, even any manner of likeness, of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. 8. You shall not make for yourself a graven image, or any likeness which is in the heavens above, which is on the earth below, or which is in the water beneath the earth. חלו תעשה לך פסלה כלית אמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל ואשר בארץ מתחת ואשר במים מתחת לארץ. Thou shalt not bow down unto them, and I'll serve them, for I the Lord thy God am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the third and upon the fourth generation of them that hate me, to show you shall not prostrate yourself before them, and I'll worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a zealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the sons, upon the third and the fourth generations of those who hate me. תעלו תשתחו אליהם ולא תעבדם כי אנוכי יהובה אלוהיך אל כנף פקד עונה בבות על בנים ועל שילשים ועל ריבעים לשנאי. 10. And showing mercy unto the 1000th generation of them that love me and keep my commandments. 10. And I perform loving kindness to all thousands of generations of those who love me and to all those who keep my commandments. יעשה חסד לאלפים לאוהבי ולשומרי מצותי כתיב מצותו. 11. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. 11. You shall not take the name of the Lord, your God, in vain, for the Lord will not hold blameless anyone who takes his name in vain. לא תישא את שם יהובה אלוהיך לשרו, כי לא ינקה יהובה את אשר יישא את שמו לשווה. 12. Observe the Sabbath day, to keep it holy, as the Lord thy God commanded thee. 12. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord your God commanded you. יבשמור את יום השבת לקדשו כאשר ציוך יהובה אלוהיך. 13. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all the work. 13. 6 days may you work, and perform all your labor. יגששת ימים תעבוד, ועשית כל מלאכתך. 14. But the seventh day is a Sabbath unto the Lord thy God. In 80 thou shalt not do any manner of work. Thou, and all thy son, and all thy daughter, and all thy immaniclvnt, and all thy immediclvnt, and all thine ox, and all thine ass, and all any of thy cattle, and all thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy immaniclvnt and thy immediclvnt may rest as well as thou. 14. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. You shall perform in all labor, neither you, your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, your ox, your donkey, any of your livestock, and all the stranger who is within your cities, in order that your manservant and your maidservant may rest like you. ידעו יום השביעי שבת ליהובה אלוהיך לא תעשך על מלאכה אתה ובנך וביתך ועבדך ואמתך ושורך וחמורך וכל בהמתך וגרך אשר בשעריך למען ינוח עבדך ואמתך כמוך. 15. Indeed thou shalt remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt. Indeed the Lord thy God brought thee out thence by a mighty hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. 15. Indeed you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. Indeed that the Lord your God took you out from there with a strong hand and with an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. וזכרת כי עבד היית בארץ מצרים ויוציאך יהובה אלוהיך משם ביד חזקה ובזרע נטויה על כן ציוך יהובה אלוהיך לעשות את יום השבת. 16. Honor thy father and thy mother, as the Lord thy God commanded thee, that thy days may be long, indeed that it may go well with thee, upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. 16. Honor your father and your mother as the Lord your God commanded you, in order that your days be lengthened, indeed that it may go well with you on the land that the Lord, your God, is giving you. תזכבד את אביך ואת אמך כאשר ציוך יהובה אלוהיך למען או יאריכון ימיך ולמען ייטב לך על האדמה אשר יהובה אלוהיך נותן לך. 17. Thou shalt not murder. Neither shalt thou commit adultery. Neither shalt thou steal. Neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor. 17. You shall not murder. And you shall not commit adultery. And you shall not steal. And you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. אז לא תרצח סמך ולא תנאף סמך ולא תגנוב סמך ולא תענה ברכה את שווה. 18. Neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's house, his field, or his immaniclvnt, or his immediclvnt, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. 18. And you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, and nor shall you desire your neighbor's house, his field, his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. יכולו תחמד אשת רעך סמך ולא תתאווה בית רעך שדהו ועבדבו ואמתו שורו וחמורו וכיל אשר לרעך. 5th portion. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 5. 19. These words the Lord spoke unto all your assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and it went on and on more. And he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone, and he gave them unto me. 19. The Lord spoke these words to all your entire assembly at the mountain out of the midst of the fire, the cloud, and the opaque darkness, with a great voice, which did not cease. And he inscribed them on 2 stone tablets, and he gave them to me. איתה את הדברים האלה דיבר יהובה אל כלכלכם בהר מתוך האש הענן והערפל כבול גדול ולא יסף ויכתבם על שני לוחות אבנים ויתנם אלי. 20. And it came to pass, when we heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, while the mountain did burn with fire, that way came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes, and your elders. 20. And it was, when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, and the mountain was burning with fire, that you approached me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders. כבאי כשמכם את הכבולה מתוך החשך וההר בוער באש ותקרבון אלי כלראשי שבטיכם וזקניכם. 21. And he said, Behold, the Lord our God hath shown you as his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that God doth speak with man, and he liveth. 21. And you said, Behold, the Lord, our God, has shown you as his glory and his greatness, and we heard his voice from the midst of the fire. We saw this day that God speaks with man, yet man remains alive. ותאמרו הן הראנו יהובה אלוהינו את כבודו ואת גדלו ואת כולו שמענו מתוך האש היום הזה הראינו כי ידבר אלוהים את האדם בחי. 22. Now therefore why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Lord our God any more, then we shall die. 22. So now, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we continue to hear the voice of the Lord our God any more, we will die. קבועתיה למה נמות כי תאכלנו האש הגדולה אז אתי מאוספים או אנחנו לשמוע את כה יהובה אלוהינו עוד ומתנו. 23. For who is there of all flesh, that hath heard the voice of the living God speaking out of the midst of the fire? As we have, and lived. 23. For who is there of all flesh, who heard the voice of the living God speaking from the midst of the fire? As we have, and lived. כגקי מיכל הבשר אשר שמע קולי אלוהים חיים מדבר מתוך האש קמנו ויחי. 24. Go thou near, and hear all that the Lord our God may say, and thou shalt speak unto us all that the Lord our God may speak unto thee, and we will hear thee and do thee. 24. You approach, and hear all that the Lord our God will say, and you speak to us all that the Lord our God will speak to you, and we will hear and do. כדקרא ותער ושמע את כאשר יאמר יהובה אלוהינו ואתה או תדבר אלינו את כאשר ידבר יהובה אלוהינו אליך ושמענו ועשינו. 25. And the Lord heard the voice of your words, when we spoke unto me, and the Lord said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto thee, they have well said all that they have spoken. 25. And the Lord heard the sound of your words when you spoke to me, and the Lord said to me, I have heard the sound of the words of this people that they have spoken to you, they have done well in all that they have spoken. כהווה ישמע יהובה את כל דבריכם בדברכם אלי, ויאמר יהובה אלי שמעתי את כל דברי העם הזה אשר דיברו אליך היטיבו כאשר דיברו. 26. Oh that they had such a heart as this always, to fear me, and keep all my commandments, that it might be well with them, and with their children forever. 26. Would that their hearts be like this, to fear me and to keep all my commandments all the days, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. קומייתן והיה לבבם זה להם ליראה אותי ולשמירת כלמיצותי כל הימים למען ייטב להם ולבניהם לעולם. 27. Go say to them, return where ye to your tents. 27. Go say to them, return to your tents. כזלך אמר להם שובו לכם לאהוליכם. 28. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandment, and the statutes, and the ordinances, which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. 28. But as for you, stand here with me, and I will speak to you all the commandments, the statutes, and the ordinances which you will teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess. ככועתיה פה עמדי מדי ואדברה אליך את כל המצווה והחוקים והמשפטים אשר תלמדם ועשו בארץ אשר אנוכי נותן להם לרשתיה. 29. Where ye shall observe to do therefore as the Lord your God hath commanded you, where ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. 29. Keep them to perform them as the Lord your God has commanded you, do not turn aside either to the right or to the left. כתושמרתם לעשות כאשר ציווה יהובה אלוהיכם אתכם לא תסורו ימין ושמאל. 30. Where ye shall walk in all the way which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that way ye may live, and that it may be well with you, indeed that way ye may prolong your days in the land which way ye shall possess. 30 in all the way which the Lord, your God, has commanded you, you shall go, in order that you may live, indeed that it may be well with you, indeed so that you may prolong your days in the land you will possess. לבך לדרך אשר ציווה יהוה אלוהיכם אתכם תלכו למען תחיון וטוב לכם והארכתם ימים בארץ אשר תירשון. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 6. Achat now this is the commandment, the statutes, indeed the ordinances, which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that way ye might do them in the land whither way ye go over to possess it. Achat this is the commandment, the statutes, indeed the ordinances that the Lord, your God, commanded to teach you, to perform in the land into which you are about to pass, to possess it. ואת המצווה החוקים והמשפטים אשר ציווה יהוה אלוהיכם ללמד אתכם לעשות בארץ אשר אתם עוברים שמה לרשתיה. 2. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou, and thy son, and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. 2. In order that you fear the Lord, your God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments that I command you, your son, and your son's son, all the days of your life, and in order that your days may be lengthened. בלמען תירא את יהוה אלוהיך לשמור את כל חוקותיו ומצוותיו אשר אנוכי מצווך אתה ובנך ובן בנך כל ימי חייך ולמען יאריכון ימיך. 3. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that way ye may increase mightily, as the Lord, the God of thy fathers, hath promised unto thee a land flowing with milk and honey. 3. And you shall, therefore, hearken, O Israel, and be sure to perform, so that it will be good for you, and so that you may increase exceedingly, just as the Lord, the God of your fathers, spoke to you, the land flowing with milk and honey. גושמעת הישראלי ושמרת לעשות אשרה ייטב לך ואשר תרבון מעד כאשרה דיבר יהוה אלוהי אבותיך לך ארץ זבת חלב ודבש. 6th portion. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 6. 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. דשמע ישראל יהוה אלוהינו יהוה הוא אחד. 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. 5. And you shall love the Lord, your God, with all your heart and with all your soul, and with all your means. ואהבת את יהוה אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. 6. And these words, which I command thee this day, shall be upon thy heart. 6. And these words, which I command you this day, shall be upon your heart. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך. 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. 7. And you shall teach them to all your sons, and speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk on the way, and when you lay down, and when you rise up. זו שיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשיבתך בביתך ובלכתך ודרך ובשכבך ובקומך. 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes. 8. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for ornaments between your eyes. וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפת בין עיניך. 9. And thou shalt write them upon the wall curious of thy house, and upon thy gates. 9. And you shall inscribe them upon the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. 10. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land which he swore unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou didst not build. Ysrael and it will be, when the Lord, your God, brings you to the land he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give you great and good cities that you did not build. היה כי הביאך או יהובה אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעק ולתת לך ערים גדולות וטובת אשר לא הבנית. 11 And the houses full of all good things, which thou didst not fill, and the cisterns hewn out, which thou didst not hew, vineyards and the elevated, which thou didst not plant, and thou shalt eat and be satisfied. 11 And the houses full of all good things that you did not fill, and the hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and the olive trees that you did not plant, and you will eat and be satisfied. יאהובתם מלאים כלטובה אשר לא המילאתה ובורת חצובים אשר לא החצבת הכרמים וזיתים אשר לא הנטעתיה ואכלתיה ושבעתיה. 12 Then beware lest thou forget the Lord, who brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. 12 Beware lest you forget the Lord, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. וישמר לך פן תשכחה את יהובה אשר הוציאך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. 13 Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and him shalt thou serve, and by his name shalt thou swear. 13 You shall fear the Lord, your God, worship him, and swear by his name. יגע את יהובה אלוהיך תירא ואותו תעבד ובשמו תשבע. 14 Where ye shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the peoples that are round about you. 14 Do not go after other gods, of the gods of the peoples who are around you. לא תלכון אחרי אלוהים אחרים מאלוהי העמים אשר סביבותיכם. 15 For a jealous God, even the Lord thy God, is in the midst of thee, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and he destroy thee from off the face of the earth. 15 For the Lord, your God, is a zealous God among you, lest the wrath of the Lord, your God, be kindled against you, and he destroy you off the face of the earth. תוקי אלקנה יהובה אלוהיך בקרבך פני חרף אהובה אלוהיך בך והשמידך מעל פני האדמה. 16 Where ye shall not try the Lord your God, as where ye tried him in Massah. 16 You shall not try the Lord, your God, as you tried him in Massah. תזה לא תנסו את יהובה אלוהיכם כאשר ניסיתם במסע. 17 Where ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. 17 Diligently keep the commandments of the Lord, your God, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he has commanded you. ישמור תשמרון את מצות יהובה אלוהיכם ועדותיו וחוקיו אשר ציווך. 18 And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Lord swore unto thy fathers. 18 And ye shall do what is proper and good in the eyes of the Lord, in order that it may be well with you, and that you may come and possess the good land which the Lord swore to your forefathers. לכו עשית הישר והטוב בעיני יהובה למען ייטב לך ובאת, וירשת את הארץ הטובה אשר נשבע יהובה לאבותיך. 19 To thrust out all thine enemies from before thee, as the Lord hath spoken. 19 To drive out all your enemies from before you, as the Lord hath spoken. יתלהדפת כלאוביך מפניך כאשר דיבר יהובה. 20 When thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, What mean the testimonies, and the statutes, and the ordinances, which the Lord our God hath commanded you? 20 If your son asks you in time to come, saying, What are the testimonies, the statutes, and the ordinances, which the Lord our God has commanded you? כי ישאלך בנך מחר לאמור מה העדות והחוקים והמשפטים אשר ציווה יהובה אלוהינו אתכם. 21. Then thou shalt say unto thy son, We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt. And the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. 21. You shall say to your son, We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. And the Lord took us out of Egypt with a strong hand. כי הוא אמרת על לבינך עבדים היינו לפרעה במצרים ויוציאנו יהוה ממצרים ביד חזקה. 22. And the Lord showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his house, before our eyes. 22. And the Lord gave signs and wonders, great and terrible, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household, before our eyes. וייתן יהוה אותת ומופתים גדולים ורעים או במצרים בפרעה ובחלבי תעול עינינו. 23. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he swore unto our fathers. 23. And he brought us out of there, in order that he might bring us and give us the land which he swore to our fathers. כגרועותנו הוציא משם למען הביא אותנו לתת לנו את הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותינו. 24. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, asat this day. 24. And the Lord commanded us to perform all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good all the days, to keep us alive, as of this day. כדבייצרנו יהוה לעשות את כל החוקים האלה ליראה את יהוה אלוהינו לטוב לנו כל הימים לחיותנו כהיום הזה. 25. And it shall be righteousness unto us, if we observe to do all this commandment before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. 25. And it will be for our merit that we keep to observe all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he has commanded us. כהצדקה תהיה לנו כי נשמור לעשות את כל המצווה הזועת לפני יהוה אלוהינו כאשר ציוונו. 7th portion. Devarim Deuteronomy chapter 7. 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and he shall cast out many nations before thee, the Hittite, and the Girgashite, and the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. 1. When the Lord, your God, brings you into the land to which you are coming to possess it, he will cast away many nations from before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations more numerous and powerful than you. כי יביאך יהוה אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר ראתה והשמע לרשתיה ונשל גבוהים רבים או מפניך החיתי והגרגשי והאמורי והכנעני והפריזי והחיוויה והיבוסי שבעה גויים רבים ועצומים ממך. 2. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them up before thee, and thou shalt smite them, then thou shalt utterly destroy them, thou shalt make an covenant with them, and I'll show mercy unto them. 2. And the Lord, your God, will deliver them to you, and ye shall smite them. Ye shall utterly destroy them, neither shall you make a covenant with them, and I'll be gracious to them. בונתנם יהוה אלוהיך לפניך והכיתם אחריהם תאחרים אותם לא תקרת להם ברית ולא תחנם. 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them, thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, and or his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. 3. You shall not intermarry with them, you shall not give your daughter to or his son, and you shall not take his daughter for your son. גו לא תתחתן בם ביתך לא תיתן לבנרו וביתבו לא תיקח לבנך. 4. For he will turn away the son from following me, that they may serve other gods, so will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and he will destroy thee quickly. 4. For he will turn away your son from following me, and they will worship the gods of others, and the wrath of the Lord will be kindled against you, and he will quickly destroy you. דכי אסיר את בנך מאחרי ועבדו אלוהים אחרים וחרה אף אהובה בכם והשמידך מהר. 5. But thus shall ye deal with them, where ye shall break down their altars, and dash in pieces their pillars, and hew down their ashrim, and burn their graven images with fire. 5. But so shall you do to them, you shall demolish their altars and smash their monuments, and cut down their ashrim trees, and burn their graven images with fire. הכי אם תעשו להם מזבחותיהם תיתוצו ומצבותם תשברו ואשריהם תגדי ארון ופסיליהם תשרפון באש. 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be his own treasure, out of all peoples that are ye upon the face of the earth. 6. For you are ye a holy people to the Lord, your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be his treasured people, out of all the peoples upon the face of the earth. וקיים קדוש אתה על יהובה אלוהיך בך בחרו יהובה אלוהיך להיות לו לעם סגולה מכל העמים אשר על פני האדמה. 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, and will choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all peoples. 7. Not because you are more numerous than any people did the Lord delight in you and choose you, for you are the least of all the peoples. זה לא מרובכם מקהל העמים חשק יהובה בכם ויבחר בכם כי אתם המעט מקהל העמים. 8. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he swore unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt. 8. But because of the Lord's love for you, and because he keeps the oath he swore to all your forefathers, the Lord took you out with a strong hand and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. חכי מאהבת יהובה אתכם, ומשמרו את השבועה אשר נשבע לאבותיכם הוציאה יהובה אתכם ביד חזקה ויפדך מבית עבדים מיד פרעה מלך מצרים. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, who keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to all 1,000 generations. To know, therefore, that the Lord, your God he is God, the faithful God, who keeps the covenant and loving kindness with those who love him and keep his commandments to all 1,000 generations. To ידעת כי יהובה אלוהיך הוא האלוהים האלה הנאמן שומר הברית והחסד לאוהביו ולשומרי מצוותיו כתיב מצוותו לאלף דבור. 10. And repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them, he will not be slack to him that hate him, he will repay him to his face. 10. And he repays those who hate him, to their face, to cause them to perish, he will not delay the one who hates him, but he will repay him to his face. יום שלם לשנאיו אל פניו להעבידבו לא יאחר לשנאו אל פניו ישלם לו. 11. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandment, and the statutes, and the ordinances, which I command thee this day, to do them. 11. You shall therefore observe the commandments, the statutes, and the ordinances, which I command you this day to do. יהו שמרת את המצווה ואת החוקים ואת המשפטים אשר אנוכי מצרוך היום לעשתם. This week's Torah Parsha, portion, reading, around the world including Israel, for Va'etchanan Devarim Deuteronomy ch. 3 vs. 23 thru c7 ו11. Click and listen. Download using the YouTube deal open source, VTDLQ.exe. With Rashi commentaries. Edited with open source Kompozer. Read aloud using MS Edge with JavaScript deactivated.